Let's do a part 2 to the philosopher's tone. I did a video about this somewhere in the stack, but the philosopher's tone, for a refresher, is the tone of curiosity. A tone means a mood, an attitude. You got the attitude to learn. You're in your sponge state. You're in the sponge frame of mind. So you're taking everything in without prejudice, without hype, without extra. And for the most part, you're good. You do what you have to. But the tone that you're taking as philosopher is, you're just making sure that you're open to the assimilation of information. Is one thing to just listen, but it's another to listen actively. So active listening would be, if you have questions, a person asks questions pertaining to it. They may want to know more, is one aspect of active listening. Being able to repeat it back. Another part of it, a very big part of active listening, does involve a lot of passivity. Like initially just taking the information in without interrupting the information said stream of consciousness, whether you're reading a book or somebody's talking to you. You're letting them go on a little bit. You're not quick to cut them off, so your understanding is going to be a little bit deeper. You let them talk because you're taking on the philosopher's tone. Understand the time of the philosopher, the last time it was around, being said to be anywhere from the 1700s to the 1800s. In those times, religion wasn't a big thing. Just like in these times, religion isn't a big thing. So essentially, we're back in the time of the philosopher. And you hear talk about the philosopher's stone. But spiritual language, stones represent people. The philosopher's person, persona, tone, mood. And that is to question everything. This is the tone of the philosopher, the mantra of the philosopher even. Question everything. When you hear that, you might take on the tone of instant deconstruction. Question everything. It doesn't mean that. But it means wanting to understand as much as you can about whatever you're presented with. That's what it's saying, long and short. Not necessarily for the sake of debunking, like you're going to question everything for the sake of debunking it. No, for further understanding, for a wider array of application, ways with, what do they call tools you can use? News that are tools you can use. News that is tools that are tools you can use. It's like, well, how can I become the philosopher's stone? The mythological philosopher's stone. Well, again, to rehash, you take on the philosopher's tone. You're not putting any preconceived notions. The person doesn't, you're not checking in for qualifications. You're just listening. Because it really doesn't matter as much who the information is coming from, but more importantly, that the information is coming forth. And besides, with the tone of social media, you could say it's a realm of philosophers. Channels, content creators, whatever the subject may be, it comes down to philosophies. You might have both sides arguing over a God that neither of them can prove to one another. That is philosophy. You might have two different groups having a disagreement in how they believe psychology should be handled. Well, that's a playing field, not a barn, not a stable. It's a field. Many creatures are found in the field, but the tone of the philosopher takes in all of nature, because that is the essence of nurture. Super T Sigma, Sigma Programming. Peace.